the analogy, but it must make him feel very good that he's now almost the focus of attention in terms of experience in that team. You've played, all of you have played in a number of different teams and done that. Have you had the experience where you've got to a team you thought were really good and you felt, yeah, we can win some things with it, and then you've ended up, leaving that team for whatever reason, then playing with someone? What is that like? What is that transition like?
You need to change a bit your play style, because if you play, for example, personally this year, I try to play with French players and try to, get newcomers to become better and share my experience. And it's harder because then you have this mentality where you know they rely on you a lot. So, and when you switch, so I went to play with Alliance, and then obviously they're accomplished players, and I don't have anything to learn them. I'm not, they don't rely on me. They're going to play their game, and we're going to play together as a team. Then you need to work on that attitude. You need to trust your teammates more. It takes a bit of time. It doesn't take too much time, but it can. You need to have that in mind. They're not the same players. I have to adapt to them.
Okay.
Yeah. I also want to mention that Fly, he's one of the most stable persons that you can probably find. So for him to get, booted off Secret, I don't think that affects him much at all. He's easily recovered.
It's not really fair to entirely blame it, because he sort of swapped roles when he was moving into Secret. So he took a more core position where his most natural position, I would say, is being a support player.
Yeah.
And it kind of takes time when you're transitioning into a different role.
He was playing offlane for a while there, and it didn't suit him as well. He also played mid for some time, but support is where he really shines.
And to outsiders, it wasn't really clear that he was the problem. We didn't really think that Fly didn't mesh well with the team. No. It was more of an internal thing, and sometimes chemistry just doesn't work out. For example, with Vici and removing Black and bringing in someone else, it seems better on paper, but you never actually know the inner workings until you actually try it.
That's true. You can't know how a team functions if you're not inside of it, because, there are so many things to it. Not just how you perform in-game, but also how you communicate. Something that Fly even highlighted himself. This is super important to him and to Complexity.
And, I started in a lot for Team Meepon. That's not a team anymore, but Fly was playing with them before he joined Complexity. And he's the type of player where I can tell, if he's experienced, right, amongst the Complexity right now, he's the most experienced Dota player amongst them, but he's going to give them space as well. He's very calm. He's not the guy that's going to try to control his teammates. I know what I'm doing, listen to me. He's going to be very calm. He's going to give them the space they need, but he's also going to be there when they need him. All right, I don't think that's the right move. I think we should do that instead. But they're going to, grow as players and as a team around him, and that's very good.
Okay, you'll forgive me for not knowing your personal lives, all that detail, but I just wondered whether any of you have played with siblings or cousins or family members at all. I just wondered whether any of you...
No, my family, they shun Dota. Until,
That's not good.
No, they've come to understand it and like it more.
All right.
I made them watch Free-to-Play. That was a good...
That's a great move. That's a great move. I've watched my dad has been forced to watch that as well. He went, that seems pretty cool. Okay, I'll take that.
My dad knows about the Great Western Shuffle.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, do you want to share that with us now?
When BTS came to Malaysia to cast a tournament, so I brought Andrew, Zari, and Gods for dinner, and they sat down, and my dad saw them, and the first question he asked them, "What do you guys think about the Great Western Shuffle?" They were like,
"That's brilliant! I love that."
Yeah, they were they were just stunned, and they were looking at him.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. How about you two? Have you played with?
I got into Dota because of my brother.
Okay.
So I guess it's somewhat similar to Jeremy when I just, saw my brother playing. I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Then tried it and then fell in love with it. My parents don't like it as much. They're more like, okay, well, now they're of the mentality, oh, if it makes you happy, then go on with it.
Sure.
So.
Okay. I was only interested in the sense that, what is the dynamic in the team when you've got two of the team who are family members and they're brothers. How does that affect the rest of the team? Because they're very close, and we've seen, in the past they've gone through, and they've got the support from the parents, which I personally think is fantastic as well. Never even a hint of, what are you doing, why are you playing videos? Actually, it's more about, well, maybe you should think about playing a different game and being more successful. So that's really cool. But how does that affect the dynamic, do you think, within the team?
I was standing for him for 1 week in the end of last year, and they have a very open communication between Swindle and his brother. So, they will be sort of harsh on each other sometimes, but they're brothers, so, they can take that. But they also said that quickly when I was playing with them, if you think it's too much or something, just say something. But they can very openly communicate. So I think Fly fits very well in because of that.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. We are ready to go back to the game, you'll be pleased to hear, so let's go and rejoin our commentary team. Toby, it's all yours.
It's alive.
We're
live
we?
again. EG versus Complexity. We come back into just shy of the 26th minute, where Complexity are 8-4, and currently with the momentum in the game, but the momentum is swinging since.
Yeah, it's as we talked about before the pause here. It just seems like EG have done a good job of slowing the game down. Okay, never mind.
Hook shot pushing PPD back, fly right to mark. Coming of the Walrus Punch, PPD going to embrace himself. And polishing the hug is not enough. Chen will still find that nuke kill. And with the Wyvern down for 33 seconds, no buyback available, they've now lost the Winter's Curse. This is a potential where the Clink can move around during the fight without having too much trouble.
I just don't think they're going to get a fight, though. EG will just go pushing bottom with Anti-Mage, they'll get
they're almost going to force it. Like, just go up. Like, you got the BKB over on the Clink. You've still got the Aegis model for another 2 minutes. Twin Melons has a fresh off the Core now completely over on him. Inflicted damage before the Wyvern's up. You've got Mud Golems coming. You've actually got double sets of Mud Golems. Technically, this could be 4 stuns you're looking at. Or actually 6 stuns. They just break free.
Yeah.
Move forward.
It's going to just throw 2 rocks at Sumail.
Fire Strike. Clinks dropping down low, but then again, they could hold him there. They do drop the Winter's Curse over on Clinks. Laguna Blade burning through the Aegis, the Immortal. As Complexity, they back off. They were attempting to TP out, but Owie lets off the song with the Siren Chen. He's still got the Hand of God available here, and who do they really want to be going on? They're looking for the opening, and it's going to be the Clinks, but the BKB, Yosef Rubb is going to get the BKB straight away, and then just run away to safety. Potentially could be sent back while the Anti-Mage is doing his work on the bottom lane. Took out the tier 3 tower, and can't even cancel the TP out. Fear is the way to safety, but it's a Burrow Strike chasing it up to Clinks. Real trouble right now, and there it is. Owie will come through for the Riptide kill. And Fear, so much work on the bot lane. That tier 3 tower as well, he's got to be happy. And they look for more actually. The Chen, Z-Freak, not out of home and host. Trying to run back up the tree line now. He's got no TP scroll, so he's a guaranteed kill here for Evil Geniuses. Actually, even more. Fly, he's low, no mana void available, but just 2 hits. Okay, you know that swing which we were tossing up a little bit? I think it's really swung.
Yeah, EG are leading the game right now. I think Complexity have to get the next Aegis, and they have to take a chance. Like, the play they went for there, you see, this is the problem. They went for it while Fear was already halfway up the bottom lane. So when they go for the play, they have like a very small timing window to get into the top lane. And EG easily buy time, right? They have the Splinter Blast the moment Wyvern respawns. Until then, they just, whenever Clinks went to hit the tower, they just stun with Sand King, they stun with Lina, and afterwards they can just use the Naga Song to chase them down as they're trying to get out and get back and defend against Fear. Just very textbook split push play here or not really split push as such, just a push from AM while they're defending their base here for EG. And
yeah, it was a trade they knew they were going to get into. Like Complexity, you look at it, okay, we got Nagus Immortal, maybe we can go up, we can inflict some level of damage, and then Fear, he was already pushing the tier 2 tower, then reaches the tier 3, and it's that decision time. It's like, do we do this? And when they tried to make that decision to fall back, then now we kicked in. Then the Song of the Siren came in, and you couldn't get heroes back fast enough.
It's one of those moments, it's really difficult to make the call right, because you don't know if Wyvern has buyback, but in hindsight, maybe they should have gone in, like, all in on that push, where they don't just send Clinks to slowly push the tower with his Deso, but they send in Clinks, the Quap goes to hit it, they hook shot in, they get the snowball play and just, commit everything. When it was a little bit half and half, it seemed like they just tried to slow push while they were being split by AM. It's just not going to work.
It seemed odd. And this is one of those things, too, where you got to keep your composure as we do go through these pause phases and try and work out the problems. Complexity have to keep that momentum that they started at the beginning of this game. They had everything going their way. The rotations were perfect. Tuskar, Fly, he was finding hero pickoffs left, right, and center. The Clockworks, his hook shots were always finding good targets as well. And then Chen came through, you push the tier 2 towers, but as always, the biggest step you have is getting inside the enemy base. And it seems to be a step where Complexity is stumbling.
You know what what Complexity has been missing this whole game? They've been missing a gem. The wards from EG have been doing so much work. Unless they had one and they just lost it from those kills, but I don't think Chen was
I haven't seen one purchased.
I don't remember seeing a gem. And it's kind of, let's check their store. There's one available at least, so if they bought one, it would have been long ago. I think it's an oversight on their part. When you're dominating the game and you have a lineup that's really good for finding pickoffs with like Clinks, Clock, Tusk, Quap. Like, all those 4 heroes are really good at ganks. You can't allow the team to find vision. It's also what Mad said. What's keeping EG in the game is vision right now. It's the one thing they needed to counter. Because EG have been playing, like, they've been doing a really good job at placing the right wards and playing the right way around them. And Call could have countered it for 900 gold.
Yeah, that they could have. Like, it was the, like, I remember when we saw that Observer and Sentry ward going down inside the Radiant jungle, and you instantly flash, like, this is so Anti-Mage has space.
Yeah.
So you can see what's there, and you can make the calculated risk. And it doesn't feel like, since that point, like, since those wards went down, that Fear's really been at risk. Like, even when he was on the top lane, I remember there was this moment he was farming up, and there were 2 Complexity heroes just looking at him. And it was a clockwork. You know you could hook shot in, but there wasn't enough control. You knew you couldn't get the pick off. And does this then come back to also, what are you going to be building up right now on the Queen of Pain or over on the Clinks? You've got BKB Desolator, and you've got Aghanim's Octarine. This is a non-disabled lineup. There's no control on the anti-mage. It really does feel like an all-in style push, which, when Complexity had the moment to do so, they lose the trade-off. It wasn't even an advantage trade. Like, they lost 3 big heroes, actually more than that, and you lost a tier 3 tower for inflicting, I think it was minimal damage.
Yeah,
okay,
they got half.
They took half of the tier 3 tower on the top lane. It wasn't a big enough of a trade.
I just think it's simply a flaw in their strategizing here that they don't have an Orchid on either Clinks or Quap, or at least that she went for a Hex. Like, when you're ahead and you're dominating, this is the classic play that we've seen time and time again, and why Clinks actually became a pick against AM if you go back a year and a half. You just went Orchid on Clinks and shut him down when he was roaming around. This time they just don't have it.
Well, these are our thoughts. We'll see if the panelists still agree with them, so it's back over to you, Red.
Thank you very much, Toby. Yes, unfortunately, in another pause, it does give us a chance to examine a couple of minutes of play anyway. Anything you saw in that couple of minutes? Because you all agreed and said Complexity need to isolate EG players and pick them off. They got PPD, but then they kind of got isolated themselves and got picked off as well. A bit messy.
Oh, their high ground push, they got punished really hard there. They tried to do the send back home and just disjoint because Anti-Mage was split pushing.